You are watching 2+U Nevada. So excited to be joined this afternoon by Regina Bradley and Phil Doran of Bradley, Drendel, Jeanney. And today we're talking about winter safety, and a lot of people are going to be having those holiday parties. And then I was just asking you about sidewalks because, the neighbor that might not shovel their sidewalk, could be a liability.
That's correct. So in Nevada, as a homeowner, you do have an obligation or a duty to maintain a clean and clear sidewalk. So whether that's snow removal, tree removal, you do need to keep the sidewalk clear. If you don't remove the snow and someone slips and falls and suffers an injury, you may be liable for their injury claim. In addition, if you have a condition on your property that's causing the sidewalk to degrade or abut up, or a
like
road,
a root.
yes, like a tree root, what we most commonly see, then you would likewise be liable. So it is important to be mindful of maintaining your sidewalk and anything that might be on your property that's causing the sidewalk to erode or to butt up.
And what's interesting about that is my question for you was, isn't the sidewalk a city sidewalk, but the homeowner is still responsible?
Correct. And it makes sense from a policy standpoint for things that are in your control, such as snow removal, tree leaf removal, things that you as the homeowner can control and can maintain and can take care of. You are liable. However, if your sidewalk is simply degrading over time and it's not something that you caused or that was caused by something on your property, then you may not be liable. But I do think it's important to err on the side of caution. And if there's an issue, to contact the city and put them on notice about a degrading sidewalk.
Such a good point. And then when it comes to winter and walking, obviously the conditions change. So we were just talking about snow and ice, but beyond that, it's darker earlier. And as a pedestrian, you also need to be mindful that you're following the laws as well, right?
That's correct. So pedestrians typically always have the right of way, but as a driver or someone on a bike, you have to be very mindful of pedestrians, whether they're in crosswalks or getting close to the side of the road. And just like cars, bicycles, and e-bikes are treated the same way as motor vehicles. So you have to give them the right of way too and yield to them when they're on the road.
Yeah, you bring up a very good point because Dave and I, we were in another city and we were using like a Lime scooter, and you cannot be on the sidewalk in those, correct? You have to be like you are a vehicle in the roadway.
Or the bike lane, if there is one, or as far as you can to the right of the road where it's safe enough where you can give some cars some distance. And for your own safety, a lot of times, especially when it gets dark early, like we go into the fall and winter, you're gonna probably not see that bicycle as well as you probably could in the middle of the summer. So it's very important to stay as far as you can to the right, because obviously vehicles are a lot larger than bikes.
Is it incumbent on the bicyclist or the person on the scooter or the e-bike to make themselves visible?
Yes, so Nevada does require cyclists to install and to have bike lights on at dusk. So once it's dusk and past that, you do need to have lights on your bike or your e-bike or whatever vehicle that you're driving. We are seeing a lot more e-bikes, so it is imperative for those drivers and cyclists to follow the law, to have lights installed, to make sure that vehicles can see them and that they are visible.
So we only have a little bit of time left, but I really do also want to cover the large gatherings that people will have during the holidays. We're talking holiday parties, whether it be Thanksgiving and a whole bunch of people coming, or Christmas, New Year's. A lot of people have these big parties and celebrations. What do homeowners who are hosting these parties need to be aware of?
It's important to be mindful of your guests and to make sure that people are being safe, to encourage Ubers or Lyfts or designated drivers so that no one's getting overserved and potentially driving home intoxicated. And it can be tricky whether you're liable for something like that if someone leaves your house and ends up causing an accident. but it's better to be cautious and make sure that your guests are being safe when they're coming and leaving your home.
And when they come to your house as well, it's really important to keep your entryway clear. And before you have any gatherings, I would check to make sure you have homeowners insurance for anything that may occur on your property.
That's such good advice. Even just somebody tripping and twisting an ankle, like what, obviously there's the drinking too much component, but just a trip and a fall could result in some sort of issue for a host, right?
Yes. And what we see a lot of is if someone owns a dangerous dog or has a dangerous condition on their property, you very well may be liable as the homeowner. So it's important that if you know that your dog perhaps isn't friendly, it's best to keep that dog crated or away from your guests so that that's not an issue.
Such good advice. Thank you both so much for joining us this afternoon.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You're watching 2+U Nevada.